I've had a bit of investigation with how the water's getting in, and I've got this thick bits of tape. So this is just masking tape, but it's a few sheets thick, and it goes the whole way around there. I've been basically placing my water hose in different places. So I started off, I'll pull up on it as well because I'll show you something else, but I started off down here, so along the bottom of the door, then the top of the door, then all over the scuttle, the back of the car, you know, the boot area, the rear hatch I should say, same this side, and the sunroof. Initial findings, because I started off closer to the scuttle, was that we got some holes. There's one down there, there's one there, and there's some from the heater matrix, those pipes there, but that's the one that's really letting in a lot of water. In terms of the passenger side, but the driver's side is mainly because this seal isn't sitting up flush, and I think the water just coming straight into that, and it's just coming in here. So that's the kind of how it's getting. You can see there the water's just kind of pouring in there, and it's got a little pool there. And because the car doesn't get used much, I think that's mainly what's happening, is the car's just sat still and the water's coming in from the sunroof area. Also happens to be coming from here as well, which is I think the heater control area where I said those bungs aren't. So to fix this, it's going to be a fairly simple job of just bunging up the firewall completely and refitting the sunroof with those new, I've got some new fiberglass bits to hold the sunroof bung in, which came with another sunroof I've got. So easy enough to fix, and shouldn't be too bad really. Over here, took the carpet out. I did actually show or film all the process of that, but I think the other SD card I got has just been corrupted, which is slightly annoying, but happens. This has been drying out all day. Took this out. To take this out is pretty simple. You obviously got to remove the two seats, and then you've got to remove things like the rear bench. If I just go and show you, if you pop the rear bench up, because that has the two hook bits in there, took the centre console out, and took the bits that hold this bar and the dash bar on, and things like the bonnet catch and the bit of plastic that goes around the release levers for the rear hatch and the fuel release as well. But it's all pretty basic stuff. I'm sure all of you have probably taken your interior out once before. It's just like doing a Civic really. It's the same thing, same as the 4th gen Civic basically, which I'm sure I've filmed before, but I did have footage, I don't now, whatever. The good news is I think I've got to the bottom of a lot of the issues with this car as well. So I actually managed to fix, I've got the keys on me, I can show you. I actually managed to fix a lot of the other little annoying things with this car. So I've got just one click here. The wipers worked before, that's fine. But the wing mirrors, they all work now. That one always worked. This one just wasn't plugged in, or maybe that one wasn't as well. But I just plugged them in. I took the door card off, Again, I did film that, but I lost that footage, doesn't matter. And then the passenger window didn't work from either switch, from its own switch and from the switch on the driver's side as well. But now you see that all works nicely, so I just plugged that in. So I was trying to figure out how to put the aerial in, and it's quite simple actually. Just unpop of this, which is the side trim, pull that obviously out the front, it's down there like that, and then if you take this side trim out here and out of the side of the dash there, so the aerial's just here, and you can lead it round the side, and then along here, and then into the back of the stereo. I hope there's enough length there. I'll just see if I can just plop this out now. Out there like that. I should be able to kind of wiggle the stereo out. Two hands would be better. See, the aerial just needs to go in there, and two hands I'm just going to try and stick it in the back. So easily enough length on the cable for that. Then I can just place the stereo back in there, and we'll see if it works. It is actually working. I've just put a bit of this silicone spray down here just to free it up a bit, because it's very stiff. Got a bit of a bend on it as well, if you can see that. I can try and straighten that out. So in the end, I just kind of used itself just to, when you ever see a little bend, put it in the orientation you need to bend it back in, and just give it a tiny, be careful not to mess this thing up, but you can kind of use it itself, and you see it's now nice and smooth. I like to use pliers to pull this thing out to begin with, so that's quite decent enough anyway. So now we'll just put this back in. At the start, you just need to thread it in here, and make sure you don't crimp that. But trim is in the whole way. You kind of have to push it back here and clip the whole thing in, but either way, then we just got this bit trim. You can see the aerial wires just down there, and then this you just start feeding in from the top, and then just check that it's the whole way. It looks like it is down there, and then just pop it in the rest of here. So you can see I've kind of just pushed it in here, just above, on this bit of plastic here, goes there. I mean, you won't really notice it that much when this little cover's on for the fuse panel. So there we have it. Bit of classical music, lovely. But we have a problem with the actual speakers. So here's one of the ones I had. It's an Alpine Type R, which is a very nice speaker, and that's the spec on the back. So it's a 140 watt peak speaker, 35 watt RMS, 4 ohm. And it's 5 1/4. So it's 13 centimeters. It's a very small speaker, but as you see, it's got a massive magnet on it. Now, I was going to run these, but let's just have a look at this. This is solid. This cone is absolutely solid on there, pretty much. And then this one, see that? It's actually the trunnion of the speaker is not in a good way. And I think what it is that water's got down the back of it. That's the problem with cutting these speaker pods out. You see how rusty that is. You put that in there, and then water can get at the back of it, and it's kind of screwed these speakers up. It's been like that for a long period of time, but looks to have knackered it. So instead, I've got these Alpine Type S's, which I was going to run in the back, but you can see the spec is much lower. So it's got a higher peak, 150 watt but only 30 watt RMS. But if you look at the size of the magnet, it kind of tells its own story. So they're not powerful speakers, but they will fit nicely. And the good news, these are some unmodified buckets. So you can see here, enables the sound with the air pressure to move around, but it doesn't enable the water to get on the back of them because it's got these slats. That's obviously pointing up like that, so the slats enable the water to run off it. And the good news also is that these ones, being quite a lot shallower, just fit in the bucket nicely. And so again, it's a 5 1/4 inch speaker, and just fits in the bucket nicely, 13 centimeters. So what I'm going to do is just put these in place and tighten them down to here, put them in the doors, and just kind of show what that sounds like. The actual grills over the top, again, you just use the non-mar tool and you kind of just pop them out. So it's quite easy to do that. So I'm just going to put these back in and then let you have a listen. So here we have it, nice in the bucket there. I'll just use these little washers to go down. There is a small gap at the side, obviously that could be finessed a bit. Maybe get a little bit of foam between there and there, but for now, and the amount of time I'm going to be actually running the stereo when I'm driving the car is going to be pretty limited anyway. So I'm just going to throw it in as it is. I had to bend up these little tabs just so I could slide on the factory connectors. So I'm just going to connect that up and check the speaker works. What I did of the speaker before. Take that out there. You can see it's actually a bit small for the back. There's space here for 6.5 inch speakers, or is that 17 centimeters? I might have to correct myself there, but either way, I'm going to take these out. These are the little plates that help you install the speakers, and there should be actually 2 screws in there that hold their cover, but I think I must have known that this wasn't going to be in there for very long. But the good news is that they're going to be perfect for the front because they're 5 1/4 inch both speakers. Only about the speaker grills, quite simple things. To take them out, you've got to be very careful not to smash these clips off it. So it's got these little hooks there and there. They kind of go there, and then these 4 little poppers just pop in place. When you come to take them off, you've kind of got a lever back there and there to take the poppers out, and then it just attaches with 2 screws there. But that is about it, other than putting the 2 screws there and there. And I'm going to have to buy some 6.5 inch speakers for the back here.